think the consistency is huge in that we now get to spend, I would say, at least 75% of our time working on business logic as opposed to just busy work, as opposed to just the mundane, like monotonous code that is part and parcel of every solution as well. Like if you've been in this kind of industry for as long as we have been, then like you immediately spot the value. So Copilot Consulting it's a niche software consultancy. We're a small development firm that really focuses on just bespoke product development. So from a tech stack point of view, I've been a developer for 24 years now, and have been in the Microsoft stack from day one, and has always only been delving in or working in that kind of space. So everything that we deal with is very much in that pocket. Originally, the normal kind of anything from ASP up to like ASP.NET. But over, let's call it the last 12 years, big focus on Microsoft MVC, those monolithic applications that we used to kind of write. And then in the recent years, a lot of new stuff in the, let's call it Microsoft.NET Core microservices kind of side. When we do initial Greenfields dev, we typically contract other developers in. So we use consultants that join us for the duration of that first kind of stint on the project before we then take over to maintain and support. And obviously in that kind of world, our core team are trustworthy guys that's been working together for years. But when you're pulling in new people, especially if you're using external kind of consultants, there's a lack of trust initially. And we were looking at a way to protect ourselves against that. I think just from a developer point of view, keeping them consistent has been a challenge. So basically, our initial kind of project, I think it was a 4 or 5 month kind of project just to kind of get going. In fact, it wasn't last year, it was this year. And it was a complete Greenfields dev. It wasn't a migration or a conversion of anything. It was just a new product that a company that we're working with wants to kind of create and launch. It's all but eliminated CRUD work. At the back-end side, it's all but eliminated what we need to do. The ability to create our own templates and to start auto-generating documentation. When we update in intent, our documentation stays up to date, especially the last project where we work, documentation is a top requirement. And the ability to automate that and actually have some of that being generated as part of the actual dev process has also been very good for us. If we pull together a team for a kind of project, like you will always end up with a level of junior kind of guys doing some of the work. And on the intent side, it made it a lot easier for them to actually almost just punch above their weight. They could produce what is really enterprise level code. I think the consistency is huge. They're working within lines that we defined. Like if you've been in this kind of industry for as long as we have been, then like you immediately spot the value. We now get to spend, I would say, at least 75% of our time working on business logic as opposed to just busy work, as opposed to just the mundane, like monotonous code that is part and parcel of every solution as well. And the other value that we're experiencing is in eliminating bugbears, the little kind of things. I wouldn't even say reducing it, it is eliminating it. The stuff that the modules that we have used fitted like a glove. The nature of how intent works is we can just for that one little piece make a decision where, for this one module, we step away from intent. But the other 99% is still being managed properly. And I think the ability to have that freedom is also the kind of stuff that originally gave me the peace of mind to actually be willing to try it. I must say the whole engagement from day one has been like ridiculously professional, if I can say that. Just the initial kind of training has been thorough. Having access to your top level kind of resources, getting us into the product. But that whole kind of approach has been great. I would say if you've got a true Microsoft stack at the moment, then it's almost a no-brainer. It really is. I mean, we run a very small team and it still adds enough value even in our pocket. So I can only imagine what the value is in a larger organization where you're sitting with 50, 60 developers. I wouldn't want to tackle a new product again without it. So yeah, I would say for anybody in that Microsoft stack, to me, it's a 10 out of 10.